Imagine the outrage if a white person said this about any other race.
When you have a person that has the lack of pigment, the
Right.
lack of melanin,
Right.
that they know that they will be annihilated, they may not have the compassion or the when they were sent to the mountains of Caucasus, they're acting out of a deficiency. So therefore, the only way that they can act is evil.
Right.
They had to be savages. They had to be barbaric.
The average white person wouldn't say anything like that on camera. They wouldn't be bold enough to let themselves be recorded, and they damn sure wouldn't post it to their YouTube channel. But that's exactly what Nick Cannon did. Not only did he post it, but as of the making of this video, it's still up and viewable to the general public. Openly racist comments that go on for much longer than these clips, totally allowed by YouTube. But someone making a video critiquing a certain racist movement called Black Lives Matter, that gets demonetized and age restricted, and the same probably goes for this video. What Nick Cannon did is exactly the thing Terry Crews warned about a few weeks ago when he said, "We must ensure Black Lives Matter doesn't morph into Black Lives Better." He said that because, like me, Crews could see what was coming. He could see the bigotry in the black community was just waiting to come out the closet, and boy, it didn't take long. We're barely 6 weeks after George Floyd's death, and that hate is already in the glitter thong and clear heels. But Crews was right to warn people because look at what happened with Nick Cannon. It's not just that he made openly racist remarks about white people such as,
However they got the power, they have the lack of compassion. That melanin comes with compassion. Melanin comes with soul that we call it soul. We soul brothers and sisters.
or
They had to be savages. They had to be barbaric. Because they're in these Nordic mountains. They're in these rough torrential environments. So they're acting as animals.
Right.
So they're the ones that are actually closer to animals.
or
They're acting out of a deficiency. So therefore, the only way that they can act is evil. The only way they have to rob, steal, rape, kill, and
Fight or
pillage
flight, okay.
in order to survive.
or his anti-Semitic remarks.
Because the Semitic people
Are black people.
are black people. So y'all get that clarity. We're going to say that again.
Now-
The Semitic people are black people.
So I cannot be anti-Semitic.
It's that once this went viral, Nick Cannon largely received support, not criticism, from all these Black Lives Matter supporters. The people criticizing him are largely moderates, centrists, and conservatives. You've got a handful of liberals like me, but for the most part, the left has either been silent or supportive. And when it comes to the black community, it appears that at least online, most are on his side, claiming that he didn't do anything wrong. Mind you, these are the same people who flipped out over a NASCAR door pull looking like a noose. These are the same people digging through white folks' social media accounts for comments made a decade ago to cancel them and get them fired. With the rare exception, none of the stuff they dig up comes within a light year of the insanity that flowed out of Nick Cannon. But according to them, Viacom firing Nick Cannon is a violation of his free speech. The irony is so delectable, I think I got diabetes. Y'all are the biggest hypocrites. Y'all make feminists look sane, and do you know how hard that is considering they contradict themselves every time they open their mouths? And these people know what they're doing, because this attitude is very common in the black community. What Nick Cannon said is nothing new to black folks. It's just new to everybody else. I grew up hearing the same kind of talk, that black people are the real Hebrews, and then later also Egyptians, which would mean, if you believe the Bible, that black people enslaved themselves. That we was kangs, and smarter and better than any white folks anywhere. And yet somehow the people with worse technology and lower intelligence outsmarted, defeated, and enslaved us, then wiped out all our achievements from the face of the planet, only to go searching for them 200 years later. Yes, I know that sounds retarded, but I never said we were the smartest group of people on the planet. I'm black, I can say it. But what we've seen over the last 6 weeks is the racism that's prevalent in the black community finally coming out because all these Wakandans feel emboldened. They can loot and riot and force white people to grovel in front of them. Why wouldn't they openly say things now that they've only said amongst themselves? And that's all Nick Cannon did. He got a bit of a slap on the wrist for it, and I say a bit because being fired from Viacom really isn't hurting him. Puff Daddy offered to let him move his content to Diddy's TV network. I didn't even know he had one. Several prominent black figures have supported Cannon, like Dwayne Wade, who then took it back, and Charlamagne the God, and he's also got support from Black Lives Matter. Not the official group, but the organic movement. It seems to be completely behind him. Now, he did tweet a non-apology saying that he doesn't support hateful rhetoric, and then his PR team tweeted an apology that he clearly doesn't believe, which I can prove by showing what he retweeted just hours before posting the apology. Obviously, don't contact these people, but do look at what they said. One guy quoted Voltaire, "To learn who rules over you, simply find out who you are not allowed to criticize." Mind you, Nick Cannon didn't criticize white people and Jews. He called white people animals and basically said Jews stole black people's identity. Retweeted by Nick Cannon. We got this one asking why we, black folks, have to apologize for telling the truth, meaning white folks is animals and Jews are identity thieves, but they, white folks and Jews, can just lie about us. Retweeted by Nick Cannon. You got one dude comparing Nick Cannon's firing to Breonna Taylor and Sandra Bland's deaths, arguing that Cannon was fired faster than their killers were arrested because, why investigate a crime? Just arrest people, but only if they're not black. Retweeted by Nick Cannon. Then you got the resident "this nigga here" Tariq Nasheed comparing Nick Cannon's racist comments to Tucker Carlson criticizing BLM. Retweeted by Nick Cannon. And my favorite, Black Alpha Network saying that Cannon was fired not because he's racist, but because he's unapologetically black, which apparently means being racist. Retweeted by Nick Cannon. And this just goes on and on, all retweets by Nick Cannon that haven't been deleted even after he made his apology. And that's because he's not sorry. He meant what he said, and so do the people supporting him. And unlike a white man whose career would be over if he said anything like this, Nick Cannon is getting job offers from the guy who had Tupac shot. Search your feelings, you know it to be true. Megyn Kelly asked why it's racist for white people to wear brown makeup on Halloween while pretending to be a famous black person. She got fired and no one would touch her. Nick Cannon has a 2-hour-long racist rant and gets nothing but support from the majority of the black community. Not only that, but the progressive press just conveniently ignores that most of his racist comments, certainly the most offensive ones, were directed at white people. This goes largely unmentioned as if they either agree with him or are too afraid to mention it, both of which are probably true. So if you're wondering where this is going, Latinos, I know y'all thought we was cool, but y'all next. That's the order. That's the hate hierarchy in the black community. It goes whites, Jews. I don't know why they hate Jews, but they really do. Latinos, Asians, Arabs. There's no Middle East. You're all Arabs. And then whites again. Native Americans, I know y'all feel left out, but we don't care about you. Y'all don't know what it's like to suffer. Hey, look, I'm just saying what black people actually think. Don't blame me. Blame the nigga to your left. But what do I know? I know this video is going to be demonetized. Fucking YouTube and that pussy ass double standard. I bet if I said something bad about Jews, you'd let it through. You cock juggling thunder cunts.